Hello, welcome back to the Energy of the Week. So, if you're new here, or if this is your first time doing a newsletter with me, every week we do an Energy of the Week reading, right? And sometimes these are going to change. Sometimes these are going to be tarot casts where I do like a reading specific for each person's zodiac sign. And sometimes these are going to be very much just like a general reading, general vibes for the week. And for this next week, that is kind of what we're going for, just general vibes. I hope everybody's doing good while I kind of pull these cards. Last week's energy reading was really, really good. Um, I was so excited for it. I usually pull tarot and oracle. We're working with the Way Home Tarot and postcards from the liminal space. I get asked a lot. Both of these are indie oracle decks and indie tarot, and I love them. I love them more than my Rider Waite deck. Like, I am not even kidding. So I want you to take a nice deep breath in. Just kind of ground your energy a little bit as we're going through this and getting everything set up for the week. This week it's just going to be one energy reading. Um, Mostly because I missed a few newsletters. So sorry. I'm going to be getting back and better at this for the rest of June. I promise. Okay. So we've got our cards pulled. Let's look at tarot first, and then the oracle cards kind of bring everything together. So tarot is like a reflection of you and all circumstances around you. So if there are major arcana cards that come up in this reading, remember the major arcana whenever I teach tarot, the major arcana is you. Okay. And the minor arcana are events, people, or circumstances that happen that externally influence you. Okay. So the Empress is going to be our first card. Okay. The Empress talks a lot about new beginnings. New beginnings, love, beauty, relationships, a lot of femininity. So if you're somebody that is struggling with like their inner beauty, their inner self, or just like acceptance of that, this is the time of year where we need to kind of embrace that. And it's summer, so we should always like embrace how we want to be, no matter what, right? Okay. So that is the Empress for this week. The Ten of Swords. So swords is anything mental above the neck, right? The Ten of Swords. We're done with our suffering. We're done with our wallowing. Put it down. If we're holding on to anything, we need to kind of let that go because that is just not going to serve us anymore. Okay? Just put it down, let it go, and stop fucking with it. We've already had our tower moment, our devil moment with our addictions and just everything in our life kind of crumbling. And sometimes our swords can be little inconveniences that the lesson in that is patience. But here, whenever we see the 10 in any type of tarot, we're at a completion. We are done with our suffering, but now is the time to make strides towards more independence. Okay. Strides towards more recovery. And that is what is going to help you. But Ten of Swords also can mean like you're just defeated. We're defeated. We've had a lot happening, and we're kind of at our 10th reason. But this is also the point where I'm like, okay, you kind of need to dust yourself off and pick yourself up because you can't go any harder down than you are right now. Okay. So the next card, which is a major arcana card, is Justice. You might be like, oh, I really need this thing to like come to light, or I really need to talk about this and get this off my chest. Justice really wants us to find balance in our equilibrium in our life, okay? So if there's anything that you need to kind of get off your chest, this week is the week to do it. This also means like any karma is either going to be working for you or against you. So if you've been a dick, expect to reap what you sow this week. Um, Cause and effect is happening all around you this week with this card and this energy. What you do and what you put out there is going to come back to you kind of tenfold. This is a heavier, energetic week for that. So the scales have to be balanced. I'm an air sign and I truly believe in that. All right, so let's get into the oracle stuff. So how I do oracle cards is it blends the tarot together and makes more of a complete picture. So it's interesting that we started the tarot past, present, and future tarot with the Empress, which is kind of embracing our femininity because our first oracle card is God is a goddess. And that definitely talks about embracing our femininity, um, opening portals, like diving deeper into our intuitive practice. Like use this newsletter as a way to kind of figure out what you're drawn to. If you're like, oh, I'm really into tarot, or oh, I'm really into coffee reading, practice it. Take notes whenever you're listening to these readings and use what you can get out of it. God is a goddess. Listen to your intuition. You can open portals to wherever you're trying to go. Okay? Remember, you guys are the tool to opening your own portals. I am just delivering the message. Okay? All right. So we're going to be talking a lot about, kind of letting go of our old stories because the next card is Dark Night of the Soul. Dark Night of the Soul comes around. A lot of people kind of feel this energy when they're having their solar return in their late 20s, early 30s, sometimes mid 30s, okay? For me, this was early 30s. Dark Night of, trying to get it in the picture. Dark Night of the Soul. We kind of feel really isolated and alone, and that kind of corresponds with the Ten of Swords. And it's really interesting because I really believe that these readings are always very spirit-led. I only read cards that jump out of the deck. Whenever I ask spirit for guidance, this is kind of what I get. All right, so Dark Night of the Soul. We've kind of already been through a whole bunch of shit, and we have realized that the only person that's going to save us is us. We might need to detach from people, from things, from situations that, like, especially if you're kind of diving into your spiritual practice a little bit more, this is going to test you because you're going to feel alone. You don't have to be alone. And that's kind of one of the goals of this newsletter is to kind of feel less alone, is to have a spiritual safe place. But if you're dealing with like a lot of thoughts of like, oh, I was really stuck in this pattern and these people really aren't good for me and they're not really cheering for me the way I thought they were, or this relationship is very one-sided, or I just need to get comfortable with being alone. I need to be comfortable with the parts of me that aren't great, right? And looking at a deeper part of yourself that maybe only other people see, but you refuse to see. That's what this card is about. A lot of introspective practices, appreciating the beauty that you naturally have with the Empress, and really trusting your intuition is how I want you to be guided this week. So let's go into your next cards. Like, what are actionable steps you can do to kind of take this energy and move forward this week? So the next card is Forgiven, which I think is a beautiful card. So you might be dealing with all of this bullshit, right? And you're like, where do I go? What do I do? This is an inner work week. Whenever I see this card, I'm like, okay, the past is the past, and sometimes I can't hold on to it anymore. It can't be my story forever. I have to let it go. And a good example of this is like kind of what I use as when I tell the story of how like I lost my mom at such an early age, I don't hold it as a story that defines who I am anymore. It's a moment. It's a moment where fuck shit happened to me and I have to let the moment go. It doesn't define me. It's a very anchoring, tragic story, but it does not define who I am. And I have to forgive the part of me that wants to have happiness. And so that's where this card, this energy comes into play is being like, okay, I don't have to feel guilty for being happy and I can still miss or want or mourn these past things that happened to me and the possibilities I could have had from them. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Tribe of Dreams. Tribe of Dreams talks about finding like-minded people in ecosystems that you're kind of really vibing with. Okay. And for me, whenever I started my spiritual journey, I did a lot of past life regressions and past life work. I'll be offering that soon, FYI. Past life Akashic, they're called Akashic Records readings. And I really think it's important because you can take past life versions of you and kind of integrate them into this life. It's not hard. It's not hard. As somebody who's done it and whose ideal thing was to want to make a living being creative, Tribe of Dreams really is finding your tribe, connecting to like-minded people or like-minded spaces that you feel safe to interject your own visions in that aren't judgmental. Okay. And then your last card, which is so interesting because this is an actionable step for you, which is try the opposite. Try the opposite, boo. You find yourself being tested in a situation where you're like, oh my fucking God, I need to have so much patience right now. Like you made a hair appointment, for example, and you show up and the line is 10 bodies deep and you're supposed to be in the chair. You showed up on time to be in the chair, but you are not in that chair because there's a line. Um, you need to try the opposite instead of cussing that hairdresser out for double booking herself. Maybe you need to take a moment and really like sit with your thoughts, sit with yourself. Okay? Try the opposite this week. If people are testing you out there, don't feed into them because they're still stuck on that same chaos wavelength. The journey is moving away from that and seeing what you are, not based off of being a reaction to somebody else's unhealed chaos. That's good. I really need to write that one down. Anyway, that is your energy for this week. Don't be a little chaos bunny. We need to trust our intuition a little bit more if you're feeling like things are moving in the right place, or maybe they're not moving as quickly as you want them to. We need to really trust our intuition and learn to not hold on to past hurts. Past hurts are lessons, most likely. They're lessons to teach you how strong you are. They're lessons to teach you how self-reliant you are. They are lessons to teach you patience and grace, and lessons to teach you how beautiful you are and to appreciate your own beauty. It's very easy to appreciate the beauty of other people. It's harder to appreciate the beauty of oneself. So it's very illuminating this week. Please let me know what you guys think of these energy readings. I love doing them. They're fun. Maybe next time we will do according to our zodiac sign. See you guys next week.